Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Nacho Tuesday. And today I have Olivier here with RagMetrics. And without further ado, we'd love if you could introduce your company and what you do.
So I'm Olivier Cohen. I'm a co-founder of RagMetrics. RagMetrics specializes in AI RAG evaluation. So we make sure that testing AI goes fast and is accurate and is adapted to situations which are very specific. So we make AI ready for production while constantly monitoring the AI output and making sure that it doesn't hallucinate as well.
Amazing. So what got you to this place in your career? What got you to the point?
I am an entrepreneur, and I think there's no more exciting time than to join AI industry right now. For an entrepreneur, it's the best place to be. And if you compare like the gold rush to AI, the people who got the richest while also bringing as much as they could to the gold rush was the one that were selling pick and tools, And I consider being in the pick and tools industry of the AI because we help digging that gold and making that gold really shiny in a way. So that's why I joined RagMetrics and I co-founded it with my partner.
Very smart. Not your first rodeo, you can tell.
Yes. I'm an ex-veteran of entrepreneurship in tech industries. I was in very complex tech industries before in the software bits. And now, that we are in the AI, I think it's the most interesting place to be. And while also that one that has the most value and the most problem to solve as well.
Yep, absolutely. How'd you meet your co-founder?
Well, while you are trying to enter a new industry and you are not from the industry, you cannot try to work with AI tech companies before, and you quickly realize the problem that people have in there. And by complete hazardous facts, the problem I had in that tech startup was solved by someone that was introduced to me. Not for that reason, but just as a piece of advice. And when I found him and he was in need of a co-founder, I jumped directly from that ship where I was to that one where I'm co-founding the company with him.
That's great. So can you explain more, maybe to the uninitiated, what RAG stands for?
RAG is called Retrieval Augmented Generation. So, there's many techniques in AI, like machine learning. You have text to speech, text to audio, text to video, and computer vision. These are all techniques using neurological network intelligence. And RAG is the technique that allows to retrieve information and generate an answer. So it usually is based on training data. So you train your model will know from the database what to answer and will think through the answer to generate a response. So the retrieval is the retrieve of data. Augmented is the thinking that goes before the generation, and generation is the response. So it's what we call Gen AI. But Gen AI is a wider term because Gen AI can generate images, pictures, graphics, videos. So generation is the response. The RAG is the technique that allows to retrieve information, augment, and generate.
Very cool. Thank you for the analysis there. So could you share maybe the latest advancements in RAG evaluation techniques, since you guys specialize in this?
Well, there's many things that me and my competitor are working on. I say me and my competitor because we are trying to make an industry out of it and a subsegment of the AI tools and DevOps tools. We worked on what we call human in the loop feedback. So when one of the crucial thing when you develop RAGs or whatever Gen AI application is to be able to make sure that you can detect errors. And the error detection is at the level of development, so you can test drive your development, but it's also on the live aspect of your LLM in production. That means you need to be able to monitor input and monitor outputs. And then you need to be able, because you're using AI to judge AI. So the output of your AI can be unreliable as well as a judge, which also, create more errors on top of the errors, which is not so great. But, with us, we have a 95% human agreement. That means we have a high level of agreement on our judge to a human judge. So what we're trying to do is to bridge that gap, between the human and the jury of AI, so they can work hand in hand and improve each other. So recently, my partner created what we call a human in the loop, so it scrubs the input of a RAG, scrub the output, and try to match them up. And it does that on a certain criteria that you would decide. That could be error detection. That could be, how well you are doing on something else, like a particular criteria to your industry. But let's take the sake of the error detection for that example. It would scrub the inputs, scrub the outputs, and every time it finds an error or something inappropriate in the generation that doesn't correspond to the input retrieval, it will flag it. It will tell the human, am I right or wrong? Do you think the same? And the human would say, yes, you're right. And it would say, why? No, you're wrong. And it would say, why? And then the human will also learn the mistakes of the AI, and the AI will reinforce its knowledge of what's an error, what's not. That is also allowing to fix outputs and improve them, because you can always kind of like fix your output based on the error and find the right outputs, export that into a data set, and re-import that in your model to retrain it. So you fine-tune it. Does that make sense?
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah, and it makes a lot of sense to have the human in the loop as well. I mean, who's better for performance evaluation than a human that could tell the AI whether it's right or wrong? I feel like a lot of people just go out and create an algorithm and think it's supposed to kind of work on its own, or they'll have, too much automation where you have the AI judging an AI. But, let's be honest here, you still need that human in the loop to really help train the models.
Yeah, well, we say is we don't want to strip away the human in the loop. We want to put the human in a skybox so it can look over the result. In the end, if you think of the most, I would say, biggest fantasy into human illustration of AI-human collaboration, it's Jarvis is nothing without Iron Man, and Iron Man is nothing without Jarvis. So, we think of the relationship between AI and human the same way, So here, for evaluation, testing, and improvements, we are, into that Jarvis Iron Man relationship.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree with you there. So how else would you say that RAG is measurable, aside from like the error outputs? What are you guys using to evaluate these models?
So, evaluating models is a very important part of someone who's entering the LLM RAG business or the AI business, because in the end, you'll be judged on the quality of your products. So, and that quality is totally uncontrollable if there is not only guardrails, but like a real mechanism and platform that is always there to be with you in making sure that your AI is the best there is. What we think is, number one, retrieval. So being able to judge how well your development retrieve data, because without good retrieval, you can't have good regeneration. It's called retrieval augmented generation. So number one is retrieval. Number two is metrics. So metrics, it needs to be custom, because you never know exactly what you're trying to achieve, And if you take generic metrics, you might solve just a part of your problem. In order to be able to do it, you need to be able to customize the metrics you're going to use to judge the performance of your application, because they're always very specific. They're not generic. Generic is for OpenAI. Generic is for Anthropic. Generic is for Gemini. That's what they're trying to get. It's AGI.
Yep.
What we're trying to unlock at RagMetrics is ASI, artificial specific intelligence. Now, the third thing is being able to compare in a seamless views. So ABCDEF testing is crucial as well.
Yep. So
being able to say, I compare two vector database in a seamless way. I compare three vector database with three different metrics. So these combination of testing improve greatly the result of your development. So A/B testing is crucial. And then obviously being able to test more than just text. So if you have data and text, you'll be able to kind of measure that. Being able to measure agentic, if you have agents as well, is important. All that are the tools that we provide at RagMetrics, but which are very crucial to any sort of development.
And so why do you think this has been so challenging to measure performance and whatnot in the past compared to today? I feel like a lot of people just kind of, just want to jump in and start creating their own models, but you guys are kind of there needs to be a foundation around it, right? Like you said, you have to have the pick and the shovel, whereas in the gold rush a lot of people just kind of went out there and didn't have any of the tools. They just wanted to be there. But then businesses like yourself kind of pop up and start selling the necessary tools that people actually need.
I think greed, greed is what like brings people to do things without thinking through. And when there is such a gold mine like AI is, and AI is a gold mine, it's definitely a gold mine. It's a gold mine for companies and it's a gold mine for humans, because it's a great chance to be able to augment what you're doing and to go faster and better at what you're doing. That's what AI is going to bring to human. But when you rush it, it can quickly fall down the ladder of quality. And instead of augmenting you, it's going to downgrade you. And that's where you don't want to fall. But when there's a gold rush, it's called rush. People are rushing the gold. So that's the problem. And the greed comes with the rush, which I understand. Intellect rush, greed rush, and a certain part of ego as well. I would say that ego is also driving the AI industry, meaning that we all have big egos because we are manipulating things which are extremely powerful and concept that goes above humans even sometimes, that you kind of feel like, well, if I can develop it, I can control it. Why do I need another AI to help me do that? Why do I need this too? But I'm sure that if you compare that to the gold rush, the most successful miner were the one who had the best tools. And so I think we need to take a step back.
And the best intel, like where to actually dig.
Be humble about it and say to ourselves, tools are here to help us. Like AI that we build is here to help others. Why don't we help each other with AI? Also, I think there's a tremendous amount of, cheap open source tools on the market, which can be decent, I would say. But decent doesn't bring you quality. So if you're trying to build with quality in mind, you need to pay that quality. Because, this is something, anything of value is for sale in this world. And so, you can't reconsider again by saying, I'm going to take a cheap tool or free tool and say, hey, this is enough for me. I got enough. Because once it hits you, you are going to regret it, and obviously I'm trying to preach from my own parole, and I am all for it. But good output creates good results and everybody's happy in the best world,
So there's really no universal RAG score, right? So you guys really focus on like
there are normative RAG scores like DPVALs, which is a free open source criteria library and evaluation free open source that we have integrated, for example, which is the most popular one. So we have integrated the library into RagMetrics because it's very popular and people are using it. Now, we also build pre-made criteria thinking of whatever we can think of. So we make people's life easy not to code them, not to create them. But there's going to be a border case where you can do so much with what we offer, what DPVAL offers, and what we're going to keep constantly providing to. Because you might have a corner case where you want to be able to measure something extremely specific that no one has thought of. And that's why you need to do custom criteria. In fact, the more customizable your criteria is, the more accurate you can fine-tune and do better results.
And you guys really specialize in helping companies get that, those specific evaluation criteria.
We're absolutely here for helping them do that.
Great.
And we're also here to go quick, fast evaluation with whatever is popular that we could find and integrate in the market in a smart way, while also using the library in the back that is always available.
That's great to hear. So we talked earlier about humans being in the loop and you guys being a big proponent of that. How do you see the human in the loop evolving over the next couple of years as more automated methods come out for judging and evaluating these LLMs?
I think the human will always stay in the side of the loop. So instead of saying like HITL, you'll be like a human-sided loop, HSL or something like that. I think the human will intervene less into fixing and fine-tuning models, where the judge and jury will help you do that. So platform like us will help fixing and fine-tune models for humans, while also proposing a sandbox version of that before it gets to release in production. So human will be, again, we go back to the Javits and Iron Man relationship. They will be in that constant loop together, but the human will be more the boss of the AI, and the AI will be enslaved in a way, you know. And that's, I think, where you want to be with AI. You don't want AI to take over humans. The human will be super expert into what they're trying to achieve, decision makers, and AI would be workers that will achieve for humans. So that's where I see the relationship going. And wherever it's fixing code, developing code, testing code, that's where we're going to go.
And do you really see a future where, maybe 10 years from now, a lot of jobs, people just don't really need to work? They could just interface with AI for pretty much
That is a very controversial question, and
it is, yeah.
Question to reply. And again, it has more, I think, legs to just like, are we going to be, using AI only? Are you going to be using human? I think a combination of the two is going to happen. Now, are there certain jobs that might not have value no more? Probably. Are they going to be, places where it's just going to augment human and live side by side? Absolutely. So, I'd say if you were a young person and you come and try to build your own career in your world, try to be a thinker more than being an execution piece. And try to think emotionally more than using just your IQ. Because your IQ is, your instinct are going to drive the IQ of the AI. And in the end, that's what's going to create value to both. So, it's a very strange word that comes around because, I think structurally, socially, economically, things are going to change, We're in the middle of that tariff battle and, is that really appropriate or not? I don't know, because the world is going to change to automation a lot, and it's a new world that is coming where it's going to be a lot more fair for people, but also a lot more unfair as well, It's a real dystopian world that we're going to go to,
I'm really interested to see how it plays out.
Absolutely. I mean, I hope I'll be old enough to see it.
Yep, in a positive way too. So I guess, how do measurable insights improve this iteration speed and model fine-tuning for RAG pipelines?
When you are able to make choices, when you are able to detect with numbers, quality, you make the right decision to improve it. And that's ultimately what makes your development better. And if you are equipped with the right set of tools to make it happen, you will go faster, more accurate than any other company in the world if you start using a good judge. The problem is how good your judge is. And that's why one of the things that we are doing that others don't is to, grade our own jury, so we are able to grade and, and if you have good results and you're able to measure with your success, you'll be able to know what do I need to improve. I can give you a sample example. Let's say I'm building a customer support chatbot, and that chatbot has a functionality which is giving away a discount to certain situation or not to clients. And I want to measure how much time it gives away the discount or not. If I create a matrix that allows to measure that, I'll be able to measure the time, how much time he gives away or not, and in which situation. So I'll be able to fix it by improving, for example, the system prompt. So if I improve the system prompt, I'll be able to improve it. Maybe I'm not using the right retrieval strategy. Maybe if I change that and I can measure again in iterative part, I'll be able to go and improve, my development. And then if I'm in production, I think everything is fine, I'll be able to keep watching it and detect errors that I can fix to improve quality. Because you have numbers, because you have measures, because you're able to detect and see and fix and understand what the right answer is. So, all that we provide, so. But we don't say we are magic wand. We need to have the human with us in order to be able to, you have to get good human with good AI judge.
Yep, totally agree. Could you share any other examples to kind of inspire people on how they could utilize your guys' services?
Well, I think one of the first, thing we have done as a POC was working with an AI tech startup in the charter accounting world. It was called Tenen AI. And that AI tech startup was providing a chatbot for accounting CPA. So, a Jarvis for accounting, it would help cook the book. It would help build the books. It would help connect to QuickBooks as well. It will, it will do a complete assistance to the human, to the CPA human. One thing that happened to them is that, that like the first of their big firm of CPA came to them and say, well, I could take up OpenAI for this. Why do I need you? This is something that commonly happened on the market for every sort of AI tech vendor or AI tech startup. They have to be challenged always by these big models and say, why do I need you? I'm already paying tokens to OpenAI. I'm paying like Gemini or Azure. I don't need you. And he said, but these people are like, these big companies, they are AGI. So what do you mean? I don't even understand what that means. It's general intelligence. They know everything, but they know nothing.
Yeah.
We know very well CPA.
Yep.
And that's what we do. We provide you with intelligence on accounting. Yep. Okay, can you help me prove that? Well, he didn't know where to go. The CEO got lost and say, where do I prove it? He goes back to his R&D team and say, hey, guys, can you give me measure or proof that we are better than OpenAI? I don't know. Let me speak to another guy. And then they found us. And then when they found us, we were able to measure how good they were against every other large language model. That helped them secure their first pilot and clients. And then that helped them also secure an investment of $3 million.
Wow.
So that's a good story for anyone who wants to go and talk to us.
That's a great story. And I love that you highlight the point that what you guys do and what people should be doing with their artificial intelligence models is that they need to be focusing on their niche angle. Whereas if you're just doing an out of the box like ChatGPT wrapper, you're not going to be really competitive, right? But if you could find your niche and you could be very good at that one thing, that's where a lot of the value is in AI right now.
I mean, I think that's where all the AI industry is shaping up, is that these big models becomes available to any sort of developer or tech startup in the valley, where you see flourishing startup coming in. I'm building an AI agent to replace your go-to-market person. I'm building like an AI content writer that will replace your blog person. And that thing is shaping up, because if you think about it, you will need to have a human behind it to make sure that the content is right, that you might want to humanize it a bit so it doesn't look as plain. And so, and these people, they need to have a measure of success. They cannot just go to market like that, because in the end, what's going to happen, I mean, I think you're aware that 87% of the whole model is dying on the vine. There is, most of the development of LLMs is dying on the vine. And what goes on is that there's no measure of quality. So people don't use it, which is a shame. It's money that people throw in by the windows, and they come and say, AI, and in the end, nothing is happening. So we help unleash that value for very small money that we ask. We are helping to shape up a safe and good AI future for the industry.
And how do you guys, how's your pricing model work? How do you typically work with clients?
We have 3 tiers. We have a startup tier. It starts at $750 a month. We have a emerging tier that starts at $3,000 a month. And we have an enterprise tier that starts at $20K a month, that goes up to $25 when it's hosted on premise. Our model is based on usage. So how many LLM judgments you're going to have, how many custom metrics you're going to use, how many users you're going to have. There's a lot of common feature across tiers which are present in multiple tiers, because we want to give the value to everyone. But we decided to make a usage-based model so that would be easier and fairer for everyone.
Yep, I like that you at least have a startup model and whatnot. Could you maybe
we have a freemium as well?
Oh, very nice. What does the freemium package look like?
You have about 10 evaluation, 1 user, and you have A/B testing. You can do a lot. You have 1 custom metric to test your custom metric. You have the loop feedback in there. So it's already a lot. And you have a Discord community where you can talk to me, talk to my partners, and they reply directly through the Discord. The more freemium users we get, the best we are. But what we want is them to be active so they can give us feedback about the products, and we can improve the product while we are reading the feedback from them. There is a user guide and manual that is available online as well that they can use to start testing and connecting their LLM. If they have any issues, we're here to troubleshoot them, and it's free of charge for months.
Yeah, your product philosophy really aligns with your business philosophy as well. You seem really open to data and feedback from people.
Yeah, it's also like we don't want to say it's open source, because something that is open source sometimes feel like valueless. We want this to be open for the public to be able to improve it and to create the best product there is, and to have that lower tier at 750 and headless in between allows people with smaller budget to come in. 750 a month is not a big deal for people to pay. I pay multiple services much more than that as a subscription as a company.
Especially if it's part of their business.
Yes, it's core to your business. You're able to prove to your client that you're good. How good it is. Like, how much time I take myself comparing myself to competition.
Yep.
I offer you a tool that allows you to compare right away and say, hey, you're able to compare to all your big models. You're also able to make the choice of what's the best tool to use for yourself, the best vector database, the best big model, large language model. So these are important choices for you.
Oh, it's core to any sort of any kind of operating.
And I had some remarks from the public saying like, I use human in the loop because I pay them cheap. I have them in low labor costs. And but I said, how much time does it take for you to release anything? And are you sure of the measure of success? They're not really sure of the measure of success. So it's something that they need to solve for sure.
Yep. Can you tell us more about how you take some of the technical evaluation metrics and translate those into meaningful business KPIs? Like for instance, with the accounting firm, or maybe one of the other groups that you've worked with, like how do you take some of those technical performance metrics and show that in a business use case?
I mean, I think we discussed the percentage discount is a good one. I think we have measure of child appropriate language. We have we have a token price. How much you pay. We have latency. We have many sort of like metrics that will convey to a business. So it's something that is very scalable in a way.
Yep. And where do you see reg evaluation in the next couple of years? Where do you see it evolving to?
I think it will go to more than RAG. I think we will add more and more RAG tools, I think, but I think in the end, what we want as evaluation bench is to be able to evaluate pictures, videos, audio, so we can go through the entire scope,
Yep.
And machine learning. So checking the learning of machines all the time, and be part of like the workflow in a constant manner and be a systematic tool that will keep, judging quality all the time.
Yep. I like your guys' vision. You guys are off to the races already. So you'd love to see your guys' company grow and what you guys are working on. Finally, somebody's actually building the infrastructure for AI as opposed to just trying to be AI. So I guess what are some key takeaways, from the interview today that you like customers to know about RagMetrics and why they should pick you guys up today?
And I like I said, I want people to understand that, of course, we're here to monetize our company, but we're here to unleash what they do and help them out. We are here to make sure that what they do is right. We're here to help the public so that they don't get fooled by this technology. And we're here to help AI so it doesn't create a bubble as well. So it become a stringent type of technology. It's not crypto. We're not in the metaverse. It's not one of these crazy bubbles that we've been through in the past couple of years. It is very much a true revolution, like the industrial revolution, the gold revolution. It's one of these transformational time where it transforms society, social relationship, work ethics, and everything that goes along with it, politics. So we want to make that revolution very real and not dangerous for people, and it's not just saying like Elon is saying it can be dangerous, but next day he brings a big robot. Yep. This is something where we have no other interest than serve people to make that revolution proper. then, and because we are being paid for. So we are completely agnostic as well. We have no dependency on OpenAI, no Anthropic. I mean, some competition already sold their soul to these big models, and we want to stay agnostic to that. We want to be able to have a judge that is a judge, and the judge is fair, and the judge is square. And it relies on something that is not, it's not because you give us a bigger subscription that will give you bigger results. You know, if it's wrong, it's wrong, you know?
Well, I love your guys' vision. I'm glad somebody's doing it the right way. Where can people learn more about RagMetrics and sign up?
They go to RagMetrics.ai, or they can write to me at Olivier at RagMetrics.ai, Olivier at RagMetrics.ai. Sorry for my French accents.
We love it. Trust me.
So Olivier at RagMetrics.ai, or they go to the website and fill up the forms.
Excellent. And then we're also happy to be partners with you guys as well. RagMetrics is also in the NachoNacho marketplace. You know, really excited about this product. Definitely one that really stands out from many of the software products and AI tools that I've seen out there. So if you're building any sort of artificial intelligence-based company, you need to be checking out RagMetrics today. Make sure that your models are aligned and working properly, because it's going to be a niche game going forward. It's, you know, don't just be a ChatGPT wrapper. Make sure that you have your LLMs in order, and you have you're the best at what you do in your particular niche space to find success.
And we're here to help them. We want to help them.
Excellent. Well, Olivier, thanks for coming on today. Really appreciate chatting with you always, and looking forward to growing our businesses together.
Thank you so much, Andy. Looking forward to it.